Hi everyone, this is Ankit this side. Welcome to Metamorphosis, the flagship event of Zeron. What does metamorphosis signify? It signifies relentless number of hours of development, innovation, and passion to change how the world looks at cybersecurity. What I'm going to reveal today is something that is going to change forever how organizations look at cyber risk management. Imagine we're in a boardroom discussion. I'm the CISO, and I come and tell you we have got 50,000 vulnerabilities with 25,000 unique CVs with an EPSS of 7.2, CVSS of 6.9, and a CMM of 3.2 out of 5. What would you understand? Thought provoking, right? And that's exactly how blank the boardroom is when this kind of discussions happen. Same scenario, I'm the CISO and I come and tell you, we have got $5 million of risk. We need to invest $30,000 in exactly this specific areas, which would bring down the cost to $72,000. It rings a bell to everyone. It's a conversation that we are having where everyone understands the context. And to address this particular issue, we brought up the quantified business exposure to risk, Kuber, the first risk quantification model born out of India. This is by far the most mathematical and logical model ever for quantifying cyber risks. Now you might be thinking, how exactly are we doing this? And that's exactly what we are going to talk about today at Metamorphosis. The brilliant brains of Zeron are going to take you through the journey of the development of the Kuber model, how it works, what are the differentiations, and what's awaiting in the future as well. Having said that, hold your breath, because we are going to reveal something which is really practical, innovative, at the same time mind-blowing. Look out for what's in hold in the box.
Hey, hi, this is Santosh, right? Imagine a cybersecurity shield with a crack in it. Right? That's the current cybersecurity posture of many of the organizations nowadays, right? Now, Kuber is helping not just to identify those cracks, but it goes beyond that, right? It measures the size and the potential impact of the crack, right? In terms of technical, economical, and legal impact. How we do this? Right. We take three major important factors into account while doing this. The first one being the threat intelligence data. So we rely on real-time threat data to assess the evolution of our attackers, right, which helps us to predict what kind of threat the organization or our customers might be getting into. The second point that we take into account is the industry specifics. As all business are never created equally, each and every business has their own uniqueness, right? And thus the risk is also unique to each and every business, right? How do we do this? We take into parameters like the operating location of the particular business, the industry specific, the industry that they are catering to, right? The employee strength, right, and the market capital of that particular company. Right? The third point is about the regulatory risk that we take into account. Right? Nowadays, to do business in any law of the land, right, we have to follow that specific regulatory body. Right? And thus, if a particular gap is found in that I'll say regulatory bodies, right, or the mandates given by those regulatory bodies, your business license will be suspended. So we take those these three major factors into account. Right. Now, this approach of ours has changed the perspective, or I'll say rather the strategy of the organizations in terms of cybersecurity. Traditionally, what used to happen is people or organization used to depend on their gut feelings and anecdotal evidences to listen or to make up their cybersecurity roadmap journey or cybersecurity journey. But now with Kuber coming in, it helps to make a decisions or make the entire cybersecurity journey or roadmap, right? Not just based upon gut feelings or anecdotal evidences, but upon data driven, right? Making decisions. So, what we do, right? What does Kuber helps in the organizations is it helps to prioritize the investment that they are making, right? By allocating or by providing them the decisions or information about which particular areas is very high impact in terms of cyber risk, right? So that they can allocate their resources, or the organization can allocate their resources to that respective areas, thereby reducing their cyber risk exposure to a higher level, right? The second point is, right, it's not just a guesswork anymore, right? Since Kuber relies with a lot of data from both outside in as well as inside out approach, right? It gives all the informations, right, in a data driven strategy, right, which helps the CISO, the organizations, right, the board, right, to make an informed decisions or to take actions upon that informations, right? As well as, right, it also helps the organization to be like proactively be in the regulatory mandates, right, to proactively like comply to those mandates given by the regulatory bodies. Okay. Now, in short, if I have to summarize this up, right, cybersecurity is a very complex landscape, right, but it need not to be a guessing game, right. Kuber helps in identifying or it helps in providing you with all the knowledge and the information that you need, right, in order for you to take an informed decisions, right, in order for you to make an actions, right. That's all. Thank you.
Hey, this is Adi this side. And today, let's talk of the journey from ideation to implementation of Kuber, India's first cyber risk quantification model. We started with market gap analysis and found that affordability was one of the major problems. In India, there are numerous organizations, starting with large-scale organization to medium-scale and small-scale organization. There was not a single model that could actually be of use to all these organizations. The second problem that we saw was customizability. In India, there are many security solutions, and different organizations were using different security solutions. There was no single module that could actually integrate with all the security solutions and give the cyber value at risk. The third thing that we saw was effectiveness. All these existing security solutions had static risk assessment procedure, and they were not dynamic enough to take the real-time incidents and the real cybersecurity events that are happening all over the world. And also, the data from all these models was inaccurate and inconsistent. The same model, when acted upon one organization at different point of time, gave different results. Also, when different models were acting upon one organization, it produced different result at one point of time. Now let's talk about Kuber and its dynamic parameters and how Kuber has been dynamic enough to take into consideration all the threats that is happening all over the world. It starts with Zeron's attack surface module. Zeron's attack surface module takes into consideration for an organization's external threats from a hacker's perspective. Now, we get the findings at the end. These findings consist of the vulnerabilities as well as the misconfigurations. Now, all of these are integrated to Kuber. The second thing that is taken into consideration is the compliance score that comes from Zeron's compliance module. Now, Zeron's compliance module consists of 33 domains, and all the security controls are mapped to these domains. The fourth thing that we consider is the Z score, that is Zeron score. Now, Zeron score is an overall score that is given by Zeron. The fourth thing that is taken into consideration is the threat repository. Now, the parameters that we consider for a threat repository are the threat financial impact, the threat operational impact, the threat success rate, and the threat risk. Now, every threat possesses a different financial impact as well as a different operational impact for some particular domains. Also, for a specific location, the threat success rate might be different for different locations. And also, the risk associated with a threat might be different based on the size of the organization as well as the location of the organization. Now, when all these parameters has been taken into consideration, all these are dynamic and changing with time. Now, let's talk about how a model is being built. It starts with the build phase, and then we move on to the training phase, and then the evaluation phase, and then comes the improvement phase, and then the validation and deployment. And let's talk about how Kuber has been implemented. We first take into consideration all these 33 security domains. Let me give you an example. Like, for example, network security. Now, the threats that are associated with network security are IP spoofing and DDoS. A different domain, for example, like endpoint management. Now, the threats that are associated with endpoint management are ransomware and malware. Now, for security awareness, the threats that might be associated is phishing. For example, like if organization is not having a proper security awareness, then phishing is one of the major threats that is faced in the organization. Now, when these 33 domains are taken into consideration, we see what are the controls that are being implemented in that organizations, which can be easily and automatically mapped to all these domains by using Zeron's C module. And then we can take into consideration all the threats that are associated with these controls and these specific domains and the variable parameters. Now, this inputs goes to the model. That's the Kuber model. And with time, we get the results, the statistical results that has been plotted. Now, what are the KPIs? You might be worrying that what KPIs and KRIs we are showing. So we are showing the cost benefit analysis. Like for implementing a security solution, what is the benefit that the organization is going to get? We are also showing the return of security investment. That's the ROCE. Now, why have we divided these domains, these controls, and all these threats which are associated with the domains? It is because for an organization, they can focus on which line of business the maximum threat or the maximum loss is getting incurred. Which line of business to give importance to, which domain to prioritize, and for each domain, which are the threats associated, which threat needs to be prioritized more, and for which threat, what are the controls which are acting as remediation to that threat, which can actually decrease the cyber value for that particular domain, and the overall organization's cyber value at risk is going to decrease. And they can actually prioritize and implement that control. While implementing that control, they can actually find how much to invest and what is the benefit they are getting after investing that amount. And that's all from Kuber. Thank you.
Everyone, here in this side. Are you tired of your security solution that leaves you with lots of gray spaces than answering those gray spaces? Today we are going to talk about Kuber, the game changer in the world of cyber risk quantification. Kuber is not just a traditional model. It's a new way of thinking about cybersecurity. We are moving away from traditional risk score and moving toward the data-driven insights that really protect your business. Every business is unique. Whether you are a small e-commerce store or a large enterprise, your risk profile are totally unique and different from each other. Kuber takes industry, the line of business, even the size of the organization into consideration. Because let's face it, the security plan for a small startup is very much different and unique than is planned for a large enterprise. We won't stop there. We doesn't just look under the hood of your IT security. We scan through your internal risk, your cloud environment, and your external attack surface. That gives us the overall risk landscape of your organization. We don't only monitor your loss, but also giving you controls that you need to implement into your organization. Kubernetes takes controls, those are implemented into your organization, the maturity of those controls, and the security tools that you are using to comply with those controls. Like patch management solution, the vulnerability management solution, and the coverage of the solution. We calculate the gap between those solutions and quantify those risks in terms of cyber risk quantification. Let's talk about the real kicker. Kubernetes doesn't rely on the guesswork. We take consideration into real financial value, that is the annual revenue of your organization. Whenever we are taking the real financial value, you know we are calculating it with your real financial value and giving you the real value that you may face if there is a cyber incident. So let's ditch the guesswork and dive into the more real risk quantification, that is cyber risk quantification Kubernetes. Make an informed decision for your organization whenever you are investing your money for your organization. Thank you.
As promised at the starting of the Metamorphosis event, you got to know what Kuber means to the world of cyber risk quantification. Well, we decided on one thing. When we came across such an innovation that a team collectively made, we didn't want to restrict it to just ourselves. It's available for the entire world, whosoever wants to use it. Also, you can put your reviews, suggestions, and your contributions to Kuber. Just visit kuber.org, QBER.org, where you would be able to put your suggestions, reviews, comments, and contributions as well. And we intend to make it a global framework so that anyone and everywhere in the world can use this for their purpose. We will be continuing this kind of innovations to make and disrupt the cyber risk management world. Till then, stay tuned.